So we're back from Bicton, 5-star, and congratulations, so big congratulations to Helen West and all her team. What an unbelievable job they did. And to Cheddington for sponsoring the event, for everyone just getting it happening, having a 5-star back in the country. And I think all who were involved there and went there as competitors thought it was absolutely fabulous, to be honest. They put on such a good show. They made an unbelievable effort for all concerned, for the horses, for the riders, for the owners. It was absolutely brilliant, and we can't thank everyone enough, to be honest, of the job that they did and how the show went. Anyway, so I'm just going to do a vlog on Tilly Bean, Vanir Chimera. She's a 16-year-old mare. Obviously, most of you know plenty about her, and she's been an unbelievable little horse for me over the last few years. And so 16 years old now. She was 14, obviously, when she won Badminton and was second at Burghley, so in the prime of her life. And it's actually been so difficult with these lovely older horses over the last 2 years, with the main competitions not being here. She's not really a one-day horse. She goes through the motions, but she's not the most pleasant at doing so. She gets very hot. She's very hard to get really the one-day stuff out of her, like you can try to for the 3 days. She's a galloping machine. She loves running. She's a hardy, feisty little girl. Tilly Bean, we call her, but she's got all sorts of names. Baggage is one. Or sometimes Beanbag for the dressage. Runner Bean for the cross-country. And, well, Jumping Bean or Spring Bean for the show jumping. But now we've got a little bit older. The spring is not quite so much there. But honestly, she has been a fabulous little horse for us, and Trevor Dickens, who owns her, she owes us absolutely nothing. It was so great to actually have an aim for her that, you know that the cross-country test is going to be influential, that she can, then come into her own. But I thought I was going to actually just use our own video. I know that the Elite Eventing TV that was shown on Horse and Country is obviously much better footage, but we were going to do the little footage that we've got that Thomas took, and I was just going to talk you through our week and her performance as something different, and I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, as there was only 30-something competitors, we all did our dressage on the Friday, which was cool, actually. The whole thing had a great atmosphere. She was on pretty good form, actually, from when she got there. Good girl. As I say, she's not a one-day horse. I find her, I need to get places and work her a few times that day just to get her to settle and relax and really get her body and mind totally with me. It was a nice start here. She did feel on pretty good form. The sun came out in the afternoon. It was nice and warm, and she was nicely relaxed. She's not the easiest on the flat. Well, I don't find she is. She's pretty well established now, and she has all the movements. But she's definitely a little mare. She has the brilliant things about a mare, and then the slightly tricky things about them as well. Oh, as you could just see there, she just drew back into the shoulder in. That's where I always find her quite hard, of being a very supple, naturally forward-going, soft horse that can go from one movement to the other, of keeping connection swing and it all being quite effortlessly. I'm always feeling like I'm trying to help with the balance and help with the connection and the consistency. So, but it's a nice test, this one, to ride. And I was really pleased with her attitude. As you can see, her ears were flopping away. and she was smiling, which is always helps. Reinback was a little bit quick then, but she stood well, got a good mark for her halt. She is, yes, she takes some work, to be honest, before her dressage. Reinback's always been something that can be a little bit quick, so I've tried quite hard. It's one thing that when she gets in the arena is a little bit of tension. She knows it's coming, and however many times I've trained and you have it right at home, there's just some that just still have that edge when they know. But like I say, her ears are flopping, and this is a really good thing for her. She needs all the help she can get. She doesn't find it that easy, and sometimes when she sort of looks, her ears come back, she looks like she's finding it harder. So I love it when she has, you know, floppy ears or smile on her face. Really helps just get those extra marks. She picked up nicely into canter. This is a new test that we've ridden now with the change at A. Good girl, came a little bit above the bit, and I was probably one stride late in getting it, of being totally accurate on the aid at A. That was my fault. I asked for it later, of just wanting that one extra stride of balance. Nicely into the half pass and straight after it. And then this time it's extended canter across the middle to collect now at the end corner marker to a much sharper bit round the corner there for the second change at A. Good girl. That was a good one. And kept a little bit rounder as well, which helps on the bit. Nice half pass again. I just thought it was actually one of her better ones, especially in her mind. This is quite a hard movement, especially from coming up the centre line to then hit C and then 20 metre do your stretch. But she did give a show of difference. It's just quite hard coming off that centre line to it. And here, this is always the good girl. It was a good change. I find a hard in a left canter of being straight. It's something that's I've always been working on, will continue to do so as long as I ride her for. The second one was a very good straight change, but her left canter is always the canter that I've found harder to keep straight, so I just have to work a little bit harder before that first change. That's always been hard, cantering on an advanced horse up the centre line to try and get trot. Some do it a lot better than others. That's where she would like to, good girl, prop herself into that movement, so we had to practice that quite a bit. But good girl, as you can see, I give her big pats and a kiss. Good girl, Tilly Bean. So delighted with that. 25 point something we got, and so I was very excited. Good old girl. And she was happy to be doing it, which is great. So we're on to the cross country, and that was about fence 5, the little water crossing that you saw, and then this is, we're not even at 2 minutes yet, and we're coming up another great big steep hill. So this was the third hill that we'd come up in not even 2 minutes, and as you can see, I was just sort of lobbing her up there. She's a very fast horse, but this really was a track of horsemanship, and of course none of us had written before that we had to really think with our heads a lot of how much we pushed up the hills and kept petrol in the tank and took as little energy out of them as possible. You can see from those exercises she did at the beginning, the white rails. These are really big distances. Whoop, a little bit low there. Either 4 or 5 strides she was flying. I had to check behind on occasions to check that the frangible pins are still in, which is desperate really to think that we've got to that stage in our sport when you've jumped the fence safely enough and you still have to turn around to check it's still there, because 11 penalties now is a real bore. And I hope something that we can look into to just see, you know, get the balance of this right, because this is not about cross country, of knocking jumps down and try to teach a horse to be fast and brave. Good girl, the last water, and she was as good as any and straight on a dive through there. What a good girl. I was delighted with her. She's just, you know, she should be as good as she was. She's experienced, but 16 and not really have done anything for a couple of years. What a good little girl. Yay! Punch the air. It's such a great feeling for us all, I think, as sports people and everything, to just get back at a decent competition and have something to aim at, to ride at, and just give something back and actually feel like there's a purpose to our days at the minute of training the horses to be at these decent competitions. She was an absolute moron at the first trot up. I have to say, she behaved particularly badly. So I was quite pleased here that she came in on the second one and looked professional, because we were taking boards and flags and banners down and everything as she was freaking out by the cameras and the flags. But she behaved well, and look at her. She was as sound as a pound after all that at 16 and barely ever had a joint injected to her. I mean, she is just such a little tough nut, a hardy little girl, and very proud of her. But how amazing Ames does these girls, having her in such tip-top shape and looking as great as she did for the trot up. So on to the jumping. Wasn't very confident, to be honest. I wasn't thinking that the lead would stay there for too long. However, she started off great. She felt as good as she could do. It was a decent track, very skinny poles, light poles. You know, I was rolling them when I walked the course, thinking this isn't going to take much. And she is a very thoroughbredy type horse, and she does love to jump by braille. And it wasn't going to take any prisoners. So I had a really good feeling from her the beginning of the track. That rail went down, and I didn't actually realise I didn't even hear it, which normally I hear something. And that one did, which was a shame. I knew that one had come down, so I knew that she wasn't going to be able to win, but she was jumping well, and now it was just a case of just keeping it together to, just hope that she would jump the rest of it well. She's not at her one days of late been feeling that springy or that interested in it. And at 16, you start thinking, does she feel older and not got the love for it as much, or a bit more complacent? And so I was really interested in how she was going to show jump today on the final day. And to me, it felt like she'd just had one down and was as good as I thought she could be. So I give her a good pat. I'm so proud of her. She's been an unbelievable horse for me. And Trevor Dickens. I've had the best days of my life on her, and one thing that I'm very aware of is that she owes us absolutely nothing. If she had come out at this competition and felt older and not that she loved it, then there was talk that maybe that was all we did with her. But she was so sound. She loved her week, and so we think that we might as well, if the sport, hopefully, as we all hope and pray, gets back to normal, she can crack on and aim for Badminton next spring if she comes out of the winter as good as she's gone into it. But she looks amazing. As I said, I'm very proud of her. I'm very grateful to Ames, who looks after her as beautifully as she does, and the whole team. But I know that she's definitely Ames's pet and has done, so much for her success. I know for a fact that little horse wouldn't have achieved what she had done without all her care and attention and management on the ground. So, well done, Ames, as well. And here she's actually receiving her prize for the best cross-country round of the day, best horsemanship prize from Captain Mark Phillips, which was very exciting. I was, as I said again, very, very proud of her. I think she deserved it. She bombed around there, not looking left or right, and made it very easily, as tough a terrain as it was. So good girl, Tilly Bean. Anyway, and well done, Gemma. Gotta say, oh, there we go. We'll get a drenching. Oh, my new hat. Then we all can't see for a while. I don't know if anyone's just chucked Prosecco in their eyes, but you actually can't see anything for a little while. Gemma's day, good on her. Excellent job. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. It was a great competition at the top, made it very exciting that the three of us, there wasn't a fence in hand. And at the press conference afterwards, Gemma got proposed to from Gaz, her boyfriend Gary, and oh my God, it was just brilliant. I thought that was absolutely amazing. So it really was a day of a lifetime for her. And so Pips and I were so happy that we were there to witness that and see that, because that was very exciting. But here we are, lap of honour, which I hate lap of honours, to be honest, because I think, oh God, can I get a dressage test out of her next time after all the cheering and excitement? But she was fab. She's a good girl, Tilly Bean, and onwards to next year.